Hi, I'm Becky Kanis. I'm the director of the 100,000 Homes campaign for Community Solutions. I'm also a veteran, class of 1991, West Point. A couple of West Pointers in the room. Go Army, beat Navy. And I'd love to, although Chase Bank, Todd, you are from the Marines, and that's awesome. And thank you for your sponsorship of the campaign. All right, so off to a great start. Homeless veterans, that's what I'm here to talk to you about. So when you look at someone who's on the streets, and I'd like to ask you to go on a journey of your imagination with me for a minute here, think of somebody you've seen who's homeless on the streets when you're on the way to work or off the highway under a bridge, or maybe you know somebody that you talk to on a regular basis, which is awesome. Just picture that person in your head. 1 in 5 chance that person is a veteran, right? So just keep that in your head with me for a moment here. I want to introduce you to a couple of people that I've met on the streets over the years. This is Ed, on the streets of Skid Row for 30 years. When we took this picture and met him, he was so intoxicated he could barely complete this survey called the Vulnerability Index Survey. It's a survey that we do to identify people on the streets who have medical conditions associated with a high risk of dying. I'm going to spare you all of the research details, but I want you from now on in your brain, when you see someone who's homeless on the streets, I want you to think cancer. All right, that is how lethal homelessness is. It has the same mortality rate. Street homelessness has the same mortality rate as some forms of cancer. And we can do something about that. We can do better as a community. All the people I'm about to show you have at least one of those health conditions in the research that would put them at a high risk for dying on the streets. This is Laura from New York City, 6 years on the streets. Donna from Phoenix, also 6 years on the streets. And Myron, a veteran, Vietnam veteran, 24 years on the streets of Phoenix. So did everybody go with me and think about the person that you know? Nod heads? Okay, all right. What can we do to help that person, right? I'm sure you've asked yourself that question. What can I do to help this person? And if I had $1 for every person who's come up to me and said, oh yeah, oh I love what you do, that's great. I help the homeless, I work in a soup kitchen. I would be very rich right now. And what I want to share is that although definitely for sure people are homeless or hungry, working in a soup kitchen is absolutely wonderful. It's very different from addressing someone's housing needs, right? And it's frustrating for me because people think that they are doing something about homelessness when they work in a soup kitchen, which is what most people do, I think, as a volunteer. But they're doing nothing to address the root cause, this housing situation too, right? So, and I can't get upset with them because whose fault is that? It's my industry's fault. And I'll show you why. If you or I want an apartment, what we do is we go to Craigslist, right? Where's Craig? Where'd he go? Right? And we find one that we like, and we scrounge together the change, and we pull together the money, and we get an apartment, right? Maybe get our friends to help us move, so we use our personal capital, social capital, intellectual capital by going on Craigslist. Boom, bam, done. All right. Now, if you are one of the most severely disabled people living on our streets for a couple decades, this would be what your process would look like. So each step on here is a step that someone who's severely disabled and lives on the streets has to go through in order to get into permanent supportive housing. It goes across multiple bureaucracies, public, private. This is a great big sausage factory hot mess, right? So it's a little bit crazy to think that if you wanted to volunteer, that what we would ask you to do is help someone with a severe mental illness or someone with a substance abuse issue or dying of some kind of cancer to navigate this complex bureaucracy. So shame on my industry, right? I think it's safe to say it's a homeless industrial complex, and we need to work to do something about that. So that's what the 100,000 Homes campaign is. I think, well, it's something missing. Anyways, the 100,000 Homes campaign that I'm privileged to lead is to find and house the 100,000 most vulnerable people on the streets of the United States and get them in housing by July 2014. So far, 135 communities have joined this effort, hopefully one near you. And collectively, they have moved into housing 17,000 of the very most vulnerable people. So we're actually on track. We're within 1% of where we need to be to house all 100,000 by July 2014. And as a matter of fact, they have housed Ed. This is Ed now. They've housed Laura. Laura had a job at the Times Square Theater. She might have given you your popcorn. They've housed Donna. Donna is the apartment, what's it called, like the neighborhood watch person at her apartment complex now in Phoenix. And they've housed Myron. In fact, they do move-in parties in Phoenix when they move people in. That's the VA moving Myron into housing. And then I think he had a makeover too, and now he bears an uncanny resemblance to the person who leads the effort to end homelessness for the state of Arizona too. But they have birthday parties. Anyways, you see the transformations that take place, right? And so what I'm really excited about and energized about is making it just as easy for you or your volunteers to work on ending someone's homelessness as it is to volunteer in a soup kitchen. So we've got a lot of work to do. This campaign that we're leading has 3 major goals. One is that every single person who's on the streets is known by name. The anonymity is connected to their death, I think. Anonymity is death. If you can just walk by and be like, oh, there's that dude that I've seen every day for the last 10 years, very different than like, oh, that's Ed, right? So I'll show you something about that in a minute. The next thing is to help each community get to where it takes less than 30 days to get someone into housing. And we have multiple efforts going in now that are kind of like nerdy, but we are in the process of getting to where it takes less than 30 days. In San Diego, as a result of the work we're doing and that they're doing, they're moving 1 veteran per day into housing. It's taking a day. So that great big spreadsheet I showed you that takes 9 months to navigate, they're doing it in 1 day in San Diego right now. So as we do that, that's going to create even more volunteers opportunities. But in the meantime, what I'd love to ask you to do is go to our website, 100khomes.org, find the closest campaign team. If you're in Montana or Idaho, come see me and I'll help you start one. And get in touch. If you click on the little red dot on our website, it'll tell you who the point person is and tell them you want to volunteer and help. They go out and the volunteers go out for 3 mornings in a row from 4 to 6 in the morning and survey everybody outside with these vulnerability index. It's an amazing volunteer opportunity that will transform your life and strips away that anonymity so that everybody's known. And then we're rolling out later this summer an app called Homeless Connector with the help of Got Your Six and brand new through our connection with that will enable anybody, anywhere, if you are somebody who knows that person, that you can fill out this app and it will be sent directly to the people whose job it is to be doing something to help. So kind of leverage the social capital. So if you're on our newsletter, we'll share that app with you. And if you have any questions, shoot me an email. Love to talk with you about this stuff. So thank you for your time, and I hope we can end homelessness together. Let's do it.